Um, okay, Pilates hotties, let's go ahead and stand up. Having your, whatever you're going to use to stretch, whether it's your ring or a band or something, and then your light weights. A little, so lighting okay for this? Okay, so feet underneath your pelvis. I need to take a moment even just to ground down and just see. I know you guys have probably been doing Pilates this whole time and staying up on it, but I'm a little out of touch. So just noticing where your feet are, let everything go for a minute, and then just find a little press into the floor to just go a little bit longer and taller, but without creating a ton of tension in your body. But just find that your body wants to be supported and it wants to be lengthened. Reaching the top of your head up to the sky. Now take a big inhale up and exhale. One more time, big inhale up. Exhale with a slow fold over to your toes. So just slowly diving forward. Which even last month I could not even do. So it feels really good to be back in this. And then just bend and straighten the knees a little bit, just to start to get a little opening in the back body. And then you can keep the legs straight, and you're going to walk your hands out to your first plank. So walking all the way out to your plank, grounding down through your hands, pressing back through your heels and through your neck, drawing the abs up and in, and then just round the spine up to downward dog. So flowing your spine up to the sky. And hang out here, just running the knees out, taking a little stretch in the hamstrings here, waking up the body, pressing the floor away from you with your hands, trying to pull your shoulder blades down your spine into your back pockets, pressing both heels back. And then you're going to round your spine like that, wave back forward into your plank, hanging out in your plank for a moment. Can you wrap the ribs up and in? Feel really supported through your waistline, almost like there's a belt underneath your belly, and that's helping to lift you up. Floating the right leg up, point the toes, and little tiny pulses. Also having the option to come onto the forearms if it's too much on the wrist this morning, and then hold that leg up and lower it all the way back down, lifting the left leg up and hold, point the toe. Firm the glute, and then little tiny pulses up. Slide the shoulder blades away from the ears. And then hold for a moment, lower that leg down, take it back to your downward dog, and take a breath. And breathe there. You can bend the knees, lift those sit bones a little higher, press the heels back. And then rolling back forward into your plank. Holding here for a moment. We're just going to rock forward on the toes. And then press the heels back. So we're still in our plank. You just press forward and back. You're bringing the shoulders over the wrists and then press back. 3 more like that. Can you try to find it from your low abs? 2. Keeping the neck lengthened. Last one. Bring it back center. Take it to your downward dog. Taking a breath there. And then we'll take the right leg up to the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip to stretch out the right side body. So feel how your oblique can get a little lengthening, your front of your hip a little lengthened. And you'll square the hips off, and now step that foot through to the hands, continuing on with our stretch. Hold there, and then take the right hand up to the sky and look up. So the shoulder blades away from the ears, and see if you can get a little opening in your spine here. And then we'll bring that hand back down. Step back to your plank, holding your plank for a moment, drawing those abs up and inside the shoulder blades away from the ears, and then take it back to your downward dog. Taking the left leg up to the sky, bend the knee, open the hip. Feeling that opening for the left side body. So this is more focused on just the stretch. And then we'll square the hips and step that foot through to the hands. Take the left hand up to the sky, open it up. Take a little twist here. Breathe. And we'll bring that hand back down, stepping that foot back. We're going to walk the right foot in so the knee is under your pelvis. Walk the left foot in. So you're on all fours, but the knees aren't touching down. Now step the right foot back and the left foot back. Bring the left foot in, right foot in, left foot back, right foot back. We're going to do that another time, alternating sides. And then so I'm going to go left again. And then we're going to hold, bring the knees down, press back to the child's pose, take a breath. So just warming up the body, Reaching the sits bones back, fingertips forward. Breathing into your low back. And then we're gonna slide ourselves up and out and onto our belly. So coming all the way down onto the mat, folding the forearms together. Let the forehead relax down to the forearms and just let everything go for a minute. Shake the pelvis out. So no tension in the low back, in the sacrum, and start to find your belly button drawing up into your spine. Also noticing where are your ribs right now. So if you need to adjust so your ribs can draw up and into your body, figure that part out. You don't want them too far forward because then you can't draw them in. So that's going to help put you in your better neutral. So let's focus on the hip points pressing down, pubic bone pressing down, belly drawing up and in, floating the right leg up off the mat and lower it down. So it's not a huge lift because I don't want the pelvis to move. So the pelvis stays secured, your glute activates to lift up off of the mat. And to lift the thigh up off of the mat. So alternating sides to start. Shoulders relax. Belly up and in. And then we're gonna do both legs. Both legs lift and lower if that feels good. Both legs lift and lower. Can you feel your navel drawing into your spine as you activate the glutes to lift the thighs? The next one, let's keep the thighs lifted and draw little circles away from each other. They go out, up and around. So you want to feel the glutes activated the whole time. So they're staying tight while you add that movement, however big the movement needs to be for your body to stay still, but to be challenged, and reverse it. Shoulders relax. Last one, we'll lower the legs all the way down, shake the glutes out. Keeping the forehead glued to the forearms. Slide the shoulder blades within the ears, draw the belly button up and in, and we'll float the upper body up off the mat. Lift your elbows a little bit higher and think someone's got you supported underneath your armpits. Lift your elbows a little bit higher and then lower back down. Draw the abs up and in, and we'll float up again. And lower. A couple more like that. Pulling the abs in. Think lengthening away from your pelvis. Like your spine is a piece of elastic just getting lengthened out. One more time. Lift. Lift the elbows a little bit higher. And lower everything down. Bend the knees. Glue the heels together. Let the knees be open about hip width. Squeeze the heels together like you're holding a dollar bill in between your heels. And then float the thighs up off the mat. And almost touch the thighs down, but they lift right back up. Lower, press up, lift. Because strong glutes are what's helping us to get around also. So a strong core, strong abs without strong glutes is not going to be helpful. You want to be balanced on both sides. Plus it's summertime fun time. And then let's hold the thighs up. Squeeze the heels a little bit tighter and tiny pulses up. Up. Are you still drawing your abs in? Are you drawing your ribs up and into your body? Noticing that when that all connects, you might feel a little more activation in the glutes for 5. And last one, and lengthen the legs out. Shake the pelvis out, reach your arms forward, slide the shoulder blades away from the ears. So how long can you move here? Drawing the abs up and in will float arms and legs up off of the mat. Can you stay long and lengthened in your neck, feeling everything from your center, and now swim? Little flutter kicks. Keeping the neck lengthened. So your glutes are activated to support your low back. Your belly's drawing up and in. The neck is long for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Refold the arms and lower everything back down. Shake the pelvis out. And then gently press yourself back to the child's pose. Take a quick stretch there. Walking the hands over to the right to find that length through the left side body. Breathing into the left lung. And then walking it back to center and over to the other side. Taking that stretch, reaching the right fingertips even longer. Pushing the right booty back to the heel. And we'll walk it back to center. And then roll yourself up onto hands and knees. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your pelvis, hip width apart, rounding into your cat stretch. Head drops, tail drops, pulling the abs up and in. And then head up, tail up for your cow, shining your heart forward. And then rounding the spine, pulling the abs up and in, dropping the head, drop the tail. And again, into your cow, shine that heart forward. Bringing it back to your neutral. Let your abs just relax and then magnetize your belly button up and in. And let your abs relax. And draw it up and in. One more time, abs relax because they need to learn how to relax. We don't want them always tense. Drawing the abs up and in, and then extending right arm and left leg at the same time. Slide the shoulder blade away from the ear. Can you lengthen out of your fingers and lengthen out of your toes, finding that balance, and then bring it back to center. Other side, left arm, right leg. So finding that balance when you get there. Can you relax the left foot? Slide the shoulder blade away from the ear, and then bring it back to center. And moving at your pace, side to side. We're going to take 5 more each way. So you get a moment out and then you bring it back. Can you keep your body so still? Pulling the abs up and in. So that's the first initiation of the movement, is drawing your navel to your spine. Being aware that your shoulder blade is sliding down into your back pocket as your arm is reaching forward. Continuing to breathe. Giving the back of your skull a little press up into the sky so you're not letting your head hang off of your shoulders. We've got 1 more each way. I think if we're about the same. Drawing the abs up. Now let's go back to right arm, left leg, and just hold there. Holding, round your spine, bring your knee and your elbow together. Really connect to the center and then lengthen. Feel like you're moving through molasses with this. So we're not rushing through. We're really slow and controlled, using the muscles to draw you in and then finding your neutral. 1 more time. Relaxing that right foot and bring it back to center. Left side. Well, left arm, right leg. Slow and controlled. Round your spine to come in and then lengthen out and drop in. And extend. 2 more like that. And last one. And bring it back to center, rounding your spine into your cat, just to let that go. And then into your cow. And all the way back to center and come onto your bum, grabbing your stretching device, which would be your ring, your band, whatever is going to be best for you. Doesn't matter as long as you have something to support. Does everybody have a ring? No, if you don't, it's not a big deal. I'm just wondering, just to think about what I'm doing. Okay.
Nicole, where do you get them? Like, it's just online?
Yeah, Amazon, I'm sure. But I think they always have them at like TJ Maxx or one of those discount favorite places, Target, Press.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not a big deal. We're fine without it. But if you have a ball or a ring, it's also something to squeeze onto. Lift and lengthen, press your sits bones down, and maybe that's a little bend in the knees to start. So you really feel your sits bones connect and your pelvis just feeling like it can be light up off of the floor. Squeeze the ring in or whatever you have. You can also just have imaginary and create the resistance. So you feel the base of your shoulder blades drawing down, not into your neck. Release that. Squeeze and release. Think about as you squeeze your low belly drawing in. Think about that you're lifting your pelvic floor up off of the mat. So it's like you're sitting on the subway and you want to levitate right off of that gross seat. And squeeze in and hold it and little tiny presses in. So we're just sitting with really good posture right now, balancing a book on our head, looking directly forward, little squeezes for 5. And last one, keep it tight. Now tuck your pelvis to roll back halfway, just halfway, sliding your tailbone underneath you, and then come up to sit, keeping the tension from your back, not just in your hands. Scoop and roll halfway and back, trying to let go of the hip flexors, And then go back halfway, hold it, and little squeezes here. Think about, can your belly draw in a little bit deeper? Can your legs not hold all of the tension, but draw those abs in for 5. And let's slowly start to roll back. We're going to eventually get down to the mat, keeping the hands in front of the shoulders all the way down to the ring is right above your head, or your hands are right over your shoulders. Give it a squeeze, slide the shoulder blades away from the ears, firm the back of the thighs down. Inhale, exhale to lift the head, neck, your shoulders, peeling your spine up, 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 reaching, diving up and over, slow and controlled, reaching forward, slide the shoulder blades away from the ears, and then scoop and roll back to your halfway point. Holding it halfway, let the shoulders relax, lift your elbows a little bit higher. So even if you don't have a ring, thinking about not being in your neck, shoulders a little bit higher than your wrists, twisting your rib cage over to the right. Then rotate it back to center and twist over to the left. And back to center. Now, can you do that without letting your feet move? So legs stay still, twisting to the right, giving the ring a squeeze. And bring it back to center and twisting to the left. And back to center. Can you take it back a tiny inch, pull those abs in, and twist over to the right, twist a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, keep the pelvis still, unwind to the center, and twist over to the left, and bring everything back to center, and then dive up and over to the toes, take a stretch forward. Let's hook onto your right foot, tuck the pelvis, roll all the way down, and let's come into our stretch to find that length. And just breathe here for a moment, wherever it feels good. So not pulling on anything yet, just letting your leg be up to the sky. If you don't have a band or a ring, you can just use a towel, a rope, anything that's just going to help get you a little assist in your stretch. And then start to ground that left leg down, toes to the sky. Push your right sits bone forward so the pelvis is squared. And then we'll start to just bend and straighten the leg a little bit. So bend and straighten. Starting to loosen up in the hamstring. And then holding that leg up, we'll bring it back a little bit further. So keeping the leg straight. If it helps, you could bring the right thumb into your right hip crease and push your leg so it stays straight and aligned in the socket as the leg comes back a little further. Shoulders are relaxing. And breathe. No, lengthen here. Let's take a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, you can release that and hook it to the toes for your calf stretch. Pulling the toes down, heel up, which I feel the calf stretch is even more important now that we're probably walking around without full on sneakers on. So a lot of flip flops or summer footwear is going to make your calf a little bit tighter. So let's make sure we stretch that out. Pulling the toes down, heel up, and then you can take points and flex into that to get a little more length out of your calf. And we'll hold the toes down, heel up. And breathe into that calf for a moment. It feels so good. For me, I feel that release all the way into my like hip and low back. And then bring it back to center. Spiral the thigh open and out to the side and letting it open up for your inner thigh stretch. Keep anchoring your left hip down into the mat. Shoulders relax. And breathe into the inner thigh. Let's take 2 more breaths there. And then we'll Lengthen that leg back up to the sky. Keep your back pocket anchored down. Let the leg come a little bit across the body. Stretch this hip. So we'll, again, if you want, you can take your thumb into your hip crease to help push the hip away and anchor your right back pocket down into the mat. Breathing into it. I love how when you relax into it and with your breath, then you find a little more length. It really feels like your muscles are lengthening out. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then on your next exhale, we'll just fold and fall into that spinal twist, putting whatever you're using to stretch to the side and letting the leg fall across the body, looking in the opposite direction. And extend that right leg back out to straight. Ooh, I needed that. And let's hold on to your stretch device and let's roll up and over and catching on to the left foot and lengthen. As you come all the way down, bring that leg up to the sky. And just melting into it for a moment, not worrying about your form, just letting your hamstring be cool with where it's at. And try to melt everything into the mat. And then starting to bring awareness into the body. So it's an active stretch, pressing the back, right thigh down, and then pushing your left sits bone forward, and maybe again taking your left thumb to push that hip. And breathe. And then we can start with that bend and straighten of the knee, finding that length. Shoulders relax. And then when you're ready, you pull that leg straight and start to come back a little bit further. Couple more breaths here, finding a little more length in that hamstring, trying to keep the leg straight, but not really locking out the knee. And when you're ready, we'll transition into our calf stretch. So letting the leg go down a little bit, bringing it to the tip of the toes and pull the toes down, heel up. So making sure you're not just sinking into that hamstring stretch more. You can let the leg go a little bit lower. And the toes to the calf, or to the shin, opening the calf, and then you can bend and straighten. So point and flex. Get a little more length. And then holding the toes towards the shin, pushing the heel up. My ankles don't have a ton of range of motion, unfortunately. And when you're ready, we'll release that onto the center of the foot, spiraling the leg open and out to the side to find some length in that inner thigh, keeping your right hip anchoring you to the mat. So the right side body stays pulling you and holding you down so the leg doesn't just pull you over. It's moving in opposing directions that's going to help in our stretch. My leg does not want to be straight on this side. Shoulders relax. And breathe. Couple more breaths here. And we'll lengthen that leg back up to the sky, anchor the back pocket down, let the leg come a little bit across the body, stretching through the center of the hip. And breathe. shoulders in the back, lock it down. And then we'll release into a spinal twist of the leg, go to the side. You put your ring or your band down. And let the leg just fall across, looking in the opposite direction. And then your body's gonna be long and loose. And let that leg come back to center. Shake those legs out. Feeling super lengthened, and then let's bend the knees, bring the feet to the mat. Get started onto our focused ab work, even though everything is always working the abs. Just arch and imprint a couple times, loosen up any tension in the low back. And then let's actually start with a bridge. So we're gonna glue the feet down, feet are hip width apart, the knees are the feet are just slightly forward of the knees. Ground your feet down, tuck your pelvis from your hands down into the mat, and then roll your hips up to the sky, pushing your hips up wide through the collarbone. And then can you lift the hips a little bit higher? Draw the belly in, hug the thighs slightly towards each other, and sequentially imprinting your spine back down into the mat. Inhaling at the bottom when you get to neutral, start to draw the abs in to press your low back into the mat as you start to lift the hips. So you're using your abs the whole time and sequentially rolling it all the way down. We're gonna do 3 more like that. Draw the belly in, rolling all the way up, lifting the hips high, opening up through the front body, sequentially rolling all the way down, making sure that the eyes are to the sky as we're doing the bridging, going all the way up. Squeeze the glutes and all the way back down one more time. So feel how your abs can really help control this movement to lift. So it is getting your glutes activated, but your abs are working to articulate through your spine all the way back down, right back into your neutral. When you get to your neutral, let's float the right leg into table. Float the left leg up to meet it. Feel how your knees are hovering over your pelvis. The whole leg is working to help keep it there, but your abs are working to keep you stable. And then toe taps, right tap forward and lift. Left toes forward and lift. So taking it super slow or go at a pace that feels good for you. So maybe that slowness in moving through molasses is going to help find a deeper activation, or maybe you need a little more speed to challenge your pelvis. To challenge your abs, not your pelvis, but to challenge the stability of your pelvis. And check in with your upper body. Are your shoulders staying relaxed? If they're not, don't take that range of motion this far. And then if you aren't taking it a little faster, let's try to take a little switch of legs. So tap and tap, and tap. Making sure there's no tension creeping into the upper body. Relax the jaw. Breathe. Pull the belly in for 3. And last one. And bring it back to center and knees up. Reach the hands to the sky. Slide the shoulder blades away from the ears. Draw the belly in. Keep the back of the skull pressing down as you reach your right arm back and left leg forward. And draw it back to center. And other side. So moving opposite arm, opposite leg. But first movement is secure the center and then move everything away. And with control, it comes back. Using your breath. Lift out of your pelvic floor. And if it feels good when you come back to center here, lift the fingertips like they could touch the sky, which brings the head, neck, and shoulders up. So we're lifting from the upper abs. We're going to keep the legs there for a moment, and we're just going to do little lifts. Tiny from the upper abs. Arms aren't moving. They're staying right over your shoulders, but imagine you need to touch your fingertips up to the ceiling. Little lift from the upper abs for 5. So you're not going all the way down. It's a small controlled lift. Not a lot of movement, but really focus in those upper abs. And then stay right there and then reach right arm backwards, left leg forward. And bring it back to center. Other side. Pulling your belly in. No tension in your low back. Error on the side of imprint your spine if you feel like anything is going into it, or you bring your head down, but not going into an arch. Last one, each way. Soft through the jaw. Bring it back to center and relax everything down. Let your head rock side to side. And we'll bring the legs back to table. Squeeze the thighs together. And now both legs are going to do a toe tap forward. Let's go halfway just for the first couple. And then low belly draws the legs back up, tapping forward and jog it up to lift. So if you feel super strong and secure, take those legs all the way out to the mat. But if that's going into your low back or rocking your pelvis or bringing tension into your upper body, stay where you can keep your body stable. Lift out of your pelvic floor. Feel how your abdominal wall can sink down towards your spine and not press out of your body. So maybe that means your hands go onto your belly to feel that. And then let's try a few with lifting head, neck, and shoulders if that feels good. So you can either lift the hands an inch above the mat or keep your hands on your abs and let your legs float forward and feel your belly lift the legs back up. So sometimes it's bringing the hands onto your body will bring awareness. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Using your breath to control and bring everything back to center. Let the head relax. Just circle the knees and the hip sockets in opposite directions to let go of any tension here. And reverse that. And let's bring it back to center. Bring the legs back to table. Reach the hands to the sky. Inhale. On your exhale, flow head, neck, and shoulders up. Press your hands forward. Extend your legs forward to your hundreds prep. And bring it back to center. Inhale. Exhale. Moving through molasses. And bring it back to center. Hold this one on the lift for your hundreds. Lift and hold. Legs are in parallel. Turn out or turned in. And pump the arms. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. So try not to have too much tension in the hips. Maybe that means you bend your knees a little bit. Maybe you bring your legs to the table. Where do you feel like you can get your abs working and you can get your breath flowing? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So since everybody is different, you set it up how you can get into your transverse abdominis, how your breathing is going to work best for you. 3 more sets. Inhale. Big. If the neck is tense, put it on the mat. Last set. Inhale. Exhale. Hold everything where it is and then drag it back to center. Hug it all the way in and relax. Let your head rock side to side. We'll bring the feet back down to the mat. We're going to go right back into our bridges. So set the feet up and we'll roll the hips up to the sky. This time we're going to keep the hips lifted. Push the hips up a little bit higher. That's going to be your up point. Now tap your butt down to the mat, press up and squeeze. Tap down, up and squeeze. Lower, lift, hold. So adjusting your feet to where they need to be, where you feel like you're going to get your glutes engaged, you're getting your abs engaged, and you're staying stable. Your collarbone is wide, your eyes are to the sky. Tap down, up, and squeeze. 2 more like that. And then we'll take this next one, hold it up to the sky, and little lift of the hips up, press up, up. Your feet right now are secured down into the mat, the big toe mound, the inside line of the foot, and the pinky toe, the outside line of the foot, from the toes to the heel. The arches feel like they have a little bit of lightness. You're reaching those sits bones towards your calves, hugging the knees in slightly, and then hold the hips up. We're going to lift the heels, tap the right heel down, and then tap the left heel down. So almost touch it to the mat, and then it goes right back up. Feeling the back side of the body with some activation, but noticing how the abs are working to keep your pelvis still. So it's not like, oh, this is an ab relax time. Of course not. You guys know. We're making sure the belly is staying in to keep everything else secure as we add that movement and get a little activation on the backside. And then both heels stay lifted. Tap your butt down, press up, squeeze. Tap down, up, and squeeze. Press that big toe mound down. And then equally press into the pinky toe. So you're not letting the knees wobble out or the ankles wobble out. Always having the option to take your hands to the sky if you feel like you need more activation. I feel great with my arms on the floor today. And then hold the hips high and pulse up, little lifts. Hug the thighs slightly together like those parallel railroad tracks. 5. And then we'll drop those heels down, walk the feet wide to the edges of the mat, digging the heels down, turning the toes up as much as you can, and then we tap down, press up, squeeze. Lower and lift with control. Collarbone staying wide. Breathe. Feels good to get those glutes fired up. Holding the hips high, lift them a little bit higher, reaching your sits bones to your calves. And now we just swing the knees in to touch and open them out. Swivel in. Breathe. Keep the hips lifted for 3. Last one, keep the knees open and pulses up to the sky. Collarbone is wide, pushing the sits bones forward for 5. And last one, drop the feet, walk back to hip width apart, sequentially rolling your spine all the way down. We'll give the knees a quick hug and we're setting right up to go into the abdominal series. So bring the legs back to table, setting your spine into neutral, hands to the sky. Lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Extend the left leg long, frame the right knee. Inhale, and we exhale, switch sides, switch, and switch. So moving with control, the leg is tracking straight out from the hip. You're lifting from those upper abs. You've got your line between your chin and your chest, so there's no tension in the jaw. The legs can go low to the mat. They can go high to the sky. Where are your abs staying controlled? Where you're zipping your abs into your spine for 3. Breathe. 2. Use that breath. Last one. Back to center. Give the knees a little hug. Shoulders relax. Rock your back. And legs to table. Zip the thighs together. Reach the hands to the sky. Floating head, neck, and shoulders up. Reaching the fingertips towards the ankles. We inhale to extend the arms, leg. And then circle to bring it back to center. Inhale. We reach long away from the body to challenge, and then squeeze to draw back to center. Can you zip those abs in? Lifting from your upper abs. 5 more. So you can always do this with the head down if the neck is feeling tension. If you feel like your jaw is starting to clench, put your head on the mat. 2 more. Last one. And bring it all the way back to center. Relax down. Bring your right ankle over your left knee. Grab behind your thigh. We're going to stretch out that glute a little bit because we're going to go back into our bridge in a moment. Pushing the right hip away. Breathe into the hip. And we're going to switch sides. And we'll bring it back to center. Bring your legs back to table. Reach the legs up to the sky. Bring the hands up, float the head, neck, and shoulders. Single straight leg stretch. Lower the left leg out. Grab gently behind the right thigh. Give a little double pull the legs, sit the legs, pull, pull. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. You can always grab up to your ankle if that feels good. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe. Long leg. 3. Last one each way. We're going to bring both legs back up and then hug all the way in. Bring fingertip touch behind the ears. Bring your feet to the mat just for a moment. Reset your neutral. So your pelvis is in a great position. Bring the legs to table. You feel super strong and supported. Exhale, the head, neck, and shoulders lift. The legs extend to the sky. Glue the heels, turn the toes apart or stay in parallel. Inhale to let the legs lengthen a little bit away from the body. Exhale to lift. Elbows stay wide. Exhaling on the lift. So you feel how your low belly is drawing your legs back up, always having the option to be in tabletop. Inhale and exhale. Let's do 3 more from those low abs. So only taking your legs away from your body where you're not going to change the position of your pelvis. 1 more time. And we'll bring it all the way back up. Bring your legs to table. Extend the left leg long. Twist to bring the left shoulder in the direction of the right knee. And rotate back to center. And twist. You can always take your stretch or we're going right into crisscross. Twist and center. Moving slow and with purpose. Bringing the bottom, rib, and shoulder together. The shoulder moves over to the opposite hip, twist and center. 2 more each way. Exhale, and twist. Last one each way. And we'll bring everything back to center, hug it all the way in and relax. Bring the feet back down to the mat. And one more time into this bridge, arms firm down into the mat. We're coming into a single leg in a moment. So make sure you're very secure with your setup. Tug the pelvis and roll the hips all the way up. Pushing the hips up a little bit higher. And we're going to bring your right leg into table and then place it back down on the mat. Left leg marches to table and down. Alternating sides, 3 more each way like that, keeping the pelvis still. And then we'll be keeping one leg to the sky. Can your pelvis stay very quiet as the legs are marching? Last one each way. Bring the right leg back up and hold the up. Push the hips up and extend the leg up to the sky. And small press up with that left glute and hip. Can you continue to push your right hip forward so the pelvis is staying even? For 5. And last one, place that foot on the mat, other side. Bring the left leg to table. Extend the leg up to the sky and press up. Breathe for 5. And last one, place that foot on the mat, sequentially imprinting your spine all the way back down, taking your hands up to the sky. Walk your feet a few inches to the front. Big inhale, exhale to peel your spine up onto your sits bones. Sitting up tall. And then scoop and roll all the way down. We're going to do 2 more like that. Inhale, exhale, peeling all the way up. And all the way back down. On the next one, we're staying on the up. All the way up. And then extend the legs forward and take a fold forward and get your light set of weights. So if you don't have weights, imaginary ones is totally fine. We're going to come sit up tall, roll the shoulder blades down, tuck your elbows into your sides, pull the belly in, and just reach the arms forward and then pull them back in. Your back is up against a wall. Reach forward and in. Now, with that movement, we're going to roll back halfway, reach the arms forward, and then come up to sit. Keep your collarbone open wide. Roll back halfway and lift. Roll back halfway, hold it. Bicep curls here. Bend and extend. So you can also do this seated. You don't have to be in this whole back position. So if it's not feeling great for your back, just stay where it's good for you. Pulling the abs in. Extend both arms and hold. Turn the palms towards each other. Bend the right elbow. Bend the left elbow. Relax the shoulders down. Last one each way. Turn the hands down and roll down to the mat. Hands up over the shoulders, head down, inhale. Exhale, we roll all the way up and over to the toes, peeling yourself up, reaching, diving forward without letting your body go to your toes, and then scoop and roll back halfway. Turn the palms towards each other. Tuck your pelvis, hinge the arms open and close. So big round arms. For 4, 3, 2. Last one. Bring the arms together, sit up tall, send your arms backwards, roll the shoulder blades down, shift your weight forward. You can also bend the knees and then little pulse of the weights together. Pulse in. Breathe. Collarbone is wide. And then hold them in and press them up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one, sitting up tall, place your waist to the side, and we're going to come into our side work, laying all the way out on your left side. So we have enough time to get through. Setting up our banana shape, you're going to rest your head on your hand or all the way down on your arm, your choice. Bring the legs a micro inch in front of your body. Push that top hip away. Feel your bottom waistline lift. Pull your ribs in. And then just lift the top leg up and hold for a moment. feel like someone's got your heel and it's lengthening you out of your pelvis, but your hips are staying stacked. Sweeping the leg forward and then point and sweep it back. Flex to bring it forward and point and sweep it back. Wrap the ribs into the body. Pull your abs in. So everything is staying very secure. Sweep and press in. So all the years of doing Pilates, I just took all of these exercises for granted. And I'm like, oh, it's not that hard. Now, when I haven't been doing it and not even teaching it as much, I see the difference in my body of what doing these movements repetitively was doing and what it's not doing anymore when I'm not doing it. So I'm back. And then bringing it all the way back to center, hold tiny spirals of that leg, stirring from inside the hip socket. Belly is drawing up and in. Reverse your circle. Hold, spiral the thigh open as we lift the leg, flex to resist and bring it down. Lift and flex and pull. Breathe. So not letting the leg just fall down, but you creating the resistance for yourself. And we'll hold it up here. Spiral the thigh open and we draw a tiny circle to the ceiling now. Moving inside of the hip socket, not just from your knee and reverse or not turning your ankle. Really feel like inside of the hip, you're getting movement happening in there to keep your hips happy and healthy. Hold it, we flex the foot. This is where we let it come down to parallel to the floor. And then it sweeps right back up from that booty. Ooh, this is feeling real fun today, friends. Breathe. The next time it goes down, it's going to stay. So now we stay and we do tiny bend and straighten and press. Now push your bum back. Try not to let your spine roll forward. Press, press. And then sweep it all the way to the back and then set up for your clamshells. Push the top hip away, glue the heels, and then open and close the top knee. With control, focusing in the glute. So if you want, you can lift your ankles. Today, I'm standing right here. I want my feet on the floor and really focus on the glute and making sure the abs are drawing in. So if you need your extra challenge, feel free to lift your ankles up to the sky and knees face down. But right now, I'm feeling a good challenge in my glute here. And that opening in the hip. And we're going to hold it up and tiny pulses up. Press up. Drawing the abs in. Make sure your bottom waistline is lifted. Your ribs are wrapping in. And then lowering that leg all the way down. The knees come forward to 90 degrees. So your side tabletop position, flex the feet. Can you get a little more length in your top hip? And sweep the top leg open and then come to almost touch down, sweeping it right back open. So our side fire hydrants. Lift and lower. So don't worry how high it's going. Worry about your control. And then you build that range of motion. Draw the abs in. Lift. 3. Breathe. Last one. Let's come down halfway. Hold it and stirs. Little tiny circles. You're flexing the foot. Feeling that whole backside and reverse. And we lower that leg all the way down and punch it out. We'll pop up, sweep the legs to the other side. One more side to go. So first find your setup and then let the legs come that little tiny bit forward. Push the top hip away. Draw the abs in. Feel your bottom waistline lifting up. Lift the top leg and hold for a moment just to feel that extra little bit of length as someone's pulling your leg out. And then flex to bring it forward and point to sweep it back. Flex forward, point and sweep it back. The bottom foot, you can have the toes turned out a little bit to give you a little support. You also, if it's creating too much tension, could bend that bottom knee. If that feels like it's going to allow you To keep your body still, you could always go there too. Flex to bring it forward and point to sweep. Tightening up in the glute. One more time. And we'll bring it back to center, hold. Keep the leg long, point the toes, tiny stirs here from the hip socket. See, can your low abs pull in a little bit tighter here? And reverse it. Holding it there, spiral the thigh open as we lift and flex and pull. We lift and flex and pull. So remember, it's the turnout of the leg that needs to happen to get the range of motion. Breathe. The next one is going to stay to the sky. And point the toes in circle. Of course, Sharif is calling me right now. And he'll call back because he'll be like, why didn't you answer the phone? And reverse. And hold it there. Flex. And then we bring the leg forward and we sweep the glute. Lift it up. Forward. Yeah, 3 more like that. Can you use your abs to make this happen too, to help create the balance? And then that side booty. This one gets to stay forward. And then tiny bend press. Bend press. Now, can you think about keeping the spine in neutral, pushing your butt back just a little bit as we make that happen. And then we sweep that leg all the way back. Setting up for our clamshells, we just bend the knees and start 45 degrees, heels on that, we tailbone, and lift and lower. Lift and lower. So the ribs are wrapping, bottom waistline is lifting, your top hip is pushing away from you. So you don't want to create any shortness here. You want to continue to keep that length. So you're even from your hips to your ribs on both sides, even though we're in this sideline position, and then building the glute for you to stay in that length. And then, did we do the pulses on the other side? Did we hold it up and pulse it up? Yeah, right? Okay. Squeeze for 5. And last one, lowering that leg. And then knees come forward, push the top hip away, flex the foot. Sweep the leg open, and then almost touching down. And we sweep it open and almost touching down. Can you relax the shoulder away from the ear? Can you feel that your abs are helping to lift that leg along with the glute? That they're working together like friends. The next one, bring it down, hold, push the top hip away, and tiny stirs. And then we reverse. Remember, keep that length on your top side. Keep relaxed in your neck. We're almost there for 5. And last one, lowering that leg all the way down, punch it up. We're going to bring ourselves over and meet back in our plank position. So hands under, legs lengthened, and hold for a moment. So the shoulders away from the ears. So a little rock forward and back from those low abs. Feeling how your plank feels so much stronger here. Forward and back. One more like that. And then recenter yourself. Draw the abs up and in and take it to your downward dog. Your hip width apart. And then we'll slow walk your toes to meet your hands. And hang out in your forward fold for a moment where your feet are hip width apart. You can bend and straighten the knees. Taking it to that full forward fold for a minute, take a breath. And then soften the knees, draw the abs in, and slowly start to roll your spine up. Press from your feet to roll yourself all the way up to standing longer, taller, and stronger than before you came into class. Shoulders away from the ears, very long and tall through the feet. Take a nice big inhale up. Exhale it out. One more time, big inhale up. And exhale. And thank you, Pilates Hotties, for coming to class.